Hey everybody, welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Mike Gamble.
And I'm Nick Kinsel.
And we are finally back for the 2021 season. Boys, it was a long off season, but it's good to be back.
Yeah, great to be back. Great to be filming. Looking forward to another fun season. Got a lot to discuss when it comes to moves, schedule changes, everything in between. Excited to be talking racing with the boys again.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. And we got some special news. Our buddy Nick Kinsel has been accepted to go to West Virginia University. That is your dream school, buddy. Congrats.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it was crazy. Like a couple months ago, I put that, or a month ago, I put that in. And I was just like, I'm just going to do it for the hell of it. Let's see if I get in. And then I got in. I'll be going for sports media. They got a kick-ass program through ESPN. So it's going to be a lot of fun over there. And I've already been in touch with our good buddy, Brandon Brown. I told him what's up. He's going to help me out throughout the way. So it's going to be an exciting adventure for sure.
Hell yeah, buddy.
Yeah, I was actually just about to ask you about if Brandon knows yet, but that's awesome.
Oh yeah, he was like the second or third. I texted Zach first. I texted Mike, and then I told Brandon about it before I even told my parents or anything. It was pretty funny.
Whoops, sorry, Dad.
That's awesome.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Yep. All right, guys, before we dig into everything, make sure to check out Kodo's Mojo on all podcast platforms. Me and Patrick are going to be going over our Super Bowl predictions next week, so make sure you guys tune in. And so let's dig into it. Let's get into our diecast of the week. Mike, what'd you bring for us, buddy?
Okay, so our diecast of the week, I'm going to go with one of the few 2020 diecasts I actually had show up so far. So we can't, kind of touch on what happened in 2020 and move into 2021 without probably talking about one of the hottest commodities in NASCAR right now, our current champion, Chase Elliott. So I got the Chase Elliott 2020 Kelley Blue Book Charlotte race win car. So it's pretty cool. You guys know me. I buy every Chase and Blaney race win. And I'm going to work on Bubba's now that we actually maybe have some equipment that we can win in. But it's cool to have a Chase car that's different because I feel like all his wins the last couple of years have been Napa cars. So this is at least a little different look. So
he's won in like every sponsor that he's driven for, which is crazy. And that was that race. That was the race after him and Alan Gustafson blew the Coke 600 away, and then they came back for redemption. So that was cool to see. And the Kelley Blue Book cars are some pretty good looking race cars.
Yeah, it's cool to see a new car like that, a Kelley Blue Book, and not the Napa ones. I think I'm going to amend my rule a little bit because A, the way he's clipping off race wins here year after year, and B, just for not getting the same car. I think I'm maybe going to do one of the Napa race wins a year just to kind of balance it out, if that. Because otherwise it's going to be like the same car over and over. There's a couple times because as you guys know, but our listeners might not know, I moved into a new apartment. And I have a game room now. And when I was moving my diecast in, I was going through the Chase ones like, all right, well, which Napa race one is this? Which one is this? You had to really go back and kind of take a look to figure it all out.
Yeah, right. Well, that's like me with my 2018 Harvick diecast because like 6 out of the 8 wins were in the Jimmy John's paint scheme. And
that's right.
It's hard to tell them apart sometimes.
Oh, my God. That's funny.
All right,
Nick, you don't really have those problems too often, do you? You always like the
really
underdog drivers.
I like to buy random, and then Trevor Bayne has won 3 career races in his life, so I didn't have to buy any duplicates or anything, so I'm all good.
There you go. All right, bud, what'd you bring?
Well, for my diecast of the week, this car showed up a couple weeks ago, and I didn't know it was going to show up. I think this is a pretty fitting race car. It's 2021, and we're still in a pandemic. So I pre-ordered this a while back, and it showed up, and I was like, oh, my God, why did I do this? It is Corey LaJoie's 32 face mask car from the 2020 season.
Bought that?
I pre-ordered it a while back, and I got to tell you, it's one of the weirdest looking cars I've ever seen. Not only because of the face mask, but I think the rest of the car is Corey LaJoie's hair. They look like hair strands is what they look like. Really weird, but kind of also like a fun car. And then yet we're still in this pandemic almost a year later now. And I don't know. It's just a cool car, and like I said, I pre-ordered it a long time ago, and then I didn't even know I was getting it until it showed up. So I was like, "Oh, cool."
Yeah, that's definitely a funny diecast. And you're gonna look back at that and be like, oh, fucking
Wow.
Corona.
Well,
2020.
I'm just looking back at it like, why the hell did I buy it? But
Well, see, that's the longer I looked at it in your hand, I was thinking first, like, why the hell did Nick buy that? And then the longer I'm like, shit, I should have bought that. That's actually
Yeah.
pretty cool.
it's pretty cool, like with the face mask and everything. But yeah, the rest of the car, the brown is Corey LaJoy's hair, is what it looks like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
because
his
if you
beard-
remember, it's a
it
play
looks
off the
like-
Old Spice car the year
Yeah.
before. So yeah.
It's an interesting car for sure. But yeah, definitely one I wasn't expecting to show up on my doorstep, and
Yeah.
just kind of did.
Definitely your most unique diecast that you've brought on the show.
No, still the most unique diecast I brought on the show is a Michael Waltrip one. Always
The
will
curse
be.
car.
The
The curse car. The curse car will
Oh.
always be the most unique car that I have.
All right, guys. So for my diecast of the week, we're talking 2020 diecasts. I gotta probably bring out my favorite one from 2020. It is Clint Boyer's Barstool diecast. The back-to-back World War champs on there. Just a beautiful, beautiful looking ride right here.
Absolutely.
Other than the pizza review car, which I didn't care for a whole lot, every
Mm.
Barstool scheme has been fire.
Oh
yeah, I thought the pizza review car was pretty butt ugly, but then the first one they did was sexy as hell, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a good looking one too. So
All right, guys, before we get into everything in the show, our friends over at For the Lead have decided to start some kind of beef with us over at the Stock Car Spectacle. As you guys know, over For the Lead, last year they were having some issues, and we had Connor Bunn come on the show, and we gave him a home for a while. And then we had some beef start over some merchandise. So, yeah.
I'll just say this on it. You know, they like to call themselves NASCAR's #1 podcast. I like to call them NASCAR's biggest crybaby podcast. That's actually backed by factual evidence.
Oh,
Since they want to cry about all the merchandise, even though we had our merchandise first, and talking about stealing sites when you asked them straight up if we could use the site. But neither here nor there. It's all in good fun. We love those guys. Connor and Timothy are our brothers. So shots fired back at you, boys. Balls in your court. You want to keep this bad boy rolling.
Oh man. Yeah, I have no comment on that. I should actually be seeing For the Lead boys if I decide to go to go to any races out there next year once I'm in Morgan settled. I got Richmond like 3 hours away. I got Darlington like 6. And then we're going to Martinsville next year, so I'm sure we're going to see them there. So it'll be all good.
Yeah. Well, just remember, Dalton Good made our logo first, and then everyone followed afterwards. All right. So, guys, make sure to check out our merch. Of course, we were just talking about it. You can get shirts, sweatshirts, hats, just like this on Spreadshirt.com. We'll have the link below to make sure you gear up on all the Stock Car Spectacle gear.
Yeah. Again, guys, that's all in fun with our buddies at For the Lead. Buy our merch, buy their merch, just buy a little bit more of ours is all, okay?
Absolutely.
All right, guys. So it has been a long, long off season. What have we been up to?
A lot, really. You know, I moved. I'm in a new apartment. I got a second bedroom now, so it's just my fiance now and I, because I did get engaged. And luckily, with it being a 2-bedroom, I have a little game room / studio now. So that's where I'm filming from. I'm not sitting Indian style next to my bed like I did all last season. So yeah, it's everything's been good, man. The wedding planning's in full force now. The boss has been taking that over, and really ready to watch races with you guys again, get this virus and pandemic over with, and get back to normal so we can start enjoying things again.
Absolutely.
For me, it's just been a lot of working and a lot of school. This is my last semester at College of DuPage. I'm in 6 courses this semester, so I gotta work my ass off before I go to Morgantown next year to go to West Virginia. And then I got my first vaccine shot, so that was exciting. It gets me hopeful for what's to come. So
Any
it's been
side
a
effects
solid.
at all?
No side effects.
That's good.
Just a really sore arm. But other than that, yep, all good to go. I'll get the second one a little later in February, and then I'll be all set. Hopefully, like I said, just looking forward to getting racing back on the TV, and hopefully we'll all get together soon for a race.
Absolutely, man. And yeah, for me lately, nothing really too much has been going on. I've been kind of been stuck in quarantine here at the house. My fiance Abby has a compromised immune system, so we're just trying to take every precaution that we can right now. So just been hanging out at home a lot and just trying to get ready for the NASCAR season and get the podcast rolling because I've been excited and hopefully get those COVID vaccines too, because I want to start hanging out with you guys again. We need to get back in the studio before Nick heads out to West Virginia.
Yeah, and we got to
Absolutely.
get you out of the house before you start getting
Yeah.
Stockholm syndrome on us there,
Yeah.
buddy.
Right.
It's fine. It's fine. I love it here. What are you talking about? People, who needs people?
No.
All right, guys. So let's get rolling into our 2021 preview. Let's roll in with the Truck Series. Mr. Mike Gamble, who will be taking control of the Truck Series this year. Let's roll, buddy.
All right, guys. So 2020 Camping World Truck Series preview. There are a lot of changes in the Truck Series coming from last year into this year into 2021. So we'll move right into the first bullet point. We're going to talk about our silly season news and moves. I can't go over every little detail. I'm just going to go over the big ones. So you guys following along at home. If there's some stuff I missed, I know that. Again, there's only so much we can really talk about. So to me, the biggest move, John Hunter Nemechek, going back to the Truck Series where he started. He's going to be driving for Kyle Busch Motorsports in the number 4 Toyota. I think that's a pretty big move. That was one of the biggest off-season stories. Really taking a change in his career to leave a surefire cup ride to come back down to the trucks. He's going to be partnered at KBM with Chandler Smith in the 18. So they completely replaced the lineup at KBM to Rafael Lessard and Christian Eckes. Eckes, we're not really sure what's going on with him yet. Rafael Lessard has moved to another team. We'll get into that in a moment. The other big moves, Hailie Deegan will have her rookie season this year in the number 1 David Gilliland Racing Ford. Pictures of that truck came out this week, I should say. Man, they look really good. As you guys know, she's probably the most controversial figure in NASCAR right now, not named Kyle Larson or Bubba Wallace. So
Yeah.
going to be really interesting to see how her season goes and see how she progresses in the Truck Series. Other big news, we're back to being the Camping World Truck Series. We're no longer the Gander Outdoor Truck Series. So to me, that's pretty cool news. I always like Camping World a lot more. So yeah, they're back for their second stint as the title sponsor.
It's about time.
Right.
All right.
Then we had Brett Moffitt controversially parting ways with GMS Racing. The comments he made at the season finale last year. I'm sure you guys remember that very well, kind of throwing his crew chief and the team under the bus a little bit there. And I don't think that resonated well over at GMS. So he will be on his way over to the 45 truck over at Nice. And the aforementioned Rafael Lessard will replace him in a 12-race deal at GMS. Numbers and things from my research are still kind of up in the air at GMS. So I can't say for sure he's going to be in the number 24 truck. They're still working on that over there, but he will be replacing him in the team. Then we've got O2 Young's Motorsports signed Chris Wright for his rookie season. He'll be running the full season there. If you guys aren't familiar, Chris made his name and his bones kind of in, more endurance racing and sports car racing. He was a 2018 IMSA Prototype LMP3 champion, 2017 IMSA Prototype Rookie Challenge Rookie of the Year. He ran part-time in the ARCA series last year and made one truck start last year, I should say. Then we're going to move over to ThorSport Racing. ThorSport had some major changes. They dropped Ford altogether. Is not confirmed. ThorSport's not really great about confirming too much of this stuff ahead of time, but they will be going with Toyota, it looks like. They had a lot of success with Toyota in the past. My first year watching the trucks full time, they did really well with Toyota. So for me as a fan of ThorSport, it's a good move to see them going back there. The 98, 99 teams are still without crew chiefs. Matt Noyce moved over to BMR to work with Derek Kraus, and Mr. Hensley left to go over to GMS with Chase Purdy, another rookie coming in that we've seen in the past in the ARCA series. So still some things up in the air over at ThorSport. Ben Rhodes and Grant Enfinger are still looking to shore up the team. So we still got a couple weeks. I don't know. They're kind of running out of time as far as I'm concerned here. So that's something they're going to want to get on. So
Yeah, usually everything's announced by now, you know?
Right.
yeah, we're late in the game, guys. So moving on, Nice Motorsports looks way different this year. So I'll just go over their lineup so far. So you've got the 40 truck is going to be Ryan Truex, Martin's little brother, not Ryan Truex Jr. for those of you keeping score at home. In the 42, we got highly touted rookie Carson Hochevar. I think he's going to have a really good season. He's really kind of lit the racing world on fire in some of the lower series. So it's going to be really cool to see him get going in that 42 truck this year. The 44, still a little bit unclear, but it's looking like it's going to be Natalie Decker. So that's kind of what the leading rumors are out there. And then Captain Controversy himself, Brett Moffitt, will be in the 45. Nick and I wanted to see that be our boy Trevor Bayne. But I don't know if Brett Moffitt's bringing money or what the deal is there, but really taking a chance on a guy here that, like I said, kind of threw his last team under the bus. So good luck with that move. Hope it works out. So then the last little big news we'll go over with the truck series, GMS adds, like we said, Chase Purdy. He's going to be full-time in the 2021 season. We haven't seen him race in a couple years. He had 7 truck starts in 2020, but that was the closest he's been to racing. He hasn't ran full-time since like 2018. He did have 1 top 10 last year, and he started on the pole at Kansas. So he hasn't competed full-time since ARCA 2018. So a couple other big not silly season, but off-season news and notes to get into. Truck season's going to open up in a couple weeks here. February 12th at Daytona. Next Gen Energy 250 will be the first race of the season for them. Speaking of the schedule, it's going to be a little different than we've seen in the past with the truck series. They got the Daytona Road Course, Circuit of the Americas, Bristol Dirt Race, Knoxville, Nashville, and Watkins Glen all added to the schedule. The trucks are going to run 1 less race this year. They ran 23 in years past. They're going to run 22 this year. We have 4 road courses on the schedule, the most ever in the Truck Series history. Those are going to be Daytona Road Course, COTA, Watkins Glen, and Canadian Tire back on the schedule, which missed last year. We're going to lose Eldora, but we do have 2 dirt races this year. Bristol Dirt, which, again, everyone's got their feelings on Bristol Dirt. And then the very famous in the dirt racing scenes, Knoxville Raceway, home of the Knoxville Nationals. I think that's going to be an awesome race. I'm really excited for that one.
Yeah, going to be much better than Bristol, like your makeshift dirt track.
Yeah,
right.
We're going to like one of the glory tracks for dirt racing. So that's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then one big schedule note to also talk about. I mentioned it really quickly in another bullet point, but Watkins Glen is back on the truck schedule. Hasn't been on the truck schedule since 2001, so 20 years since the trucks have run at the Glen. So that's going to be really cool. I'm excited for that as well. That is one of the road courses in NASCAR I really do enjoy. So
always puts on the best racing.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting to see the trucks there because you boys know how they like to dice it up in the truck series.
Oh,
exactly. Yeah. Well, you guys know me. I really am not the biggest road course guy, but if there's one road course that I do enjoy, and that is Watkins Glen. And so, yeah, that is exciting to see, especially with these young truckers. You know, there's going to be chaos in that race, and I'm all for it.
Absolutely. That's going to be one to watch, boys. So now that we've kind of gone over the silly season news and some scheduling news and other bullet points, let's look back on 2020 to get a little idea what we can maybe expect going into 2021, guys. So looking back 2020, as you guys know, Sheldon Creed had a breakout season, really. He was our 2020 Truck Series champion. Austin Hill was a regular season champion, had a really promising 2020 as well. 2 wins, 11 top 5s, 17 top 10s in 23 races. For Hattori Motorsports. That's a great season by any standards. Really looked strong all year. So I'm really looking to him have another strong year in 2021. But probably our biggest breakout star that maybe you did, maybe you didn't see coming was Zane Smith. Zane Smith, 2 wins, 7 top 5s, 13 top 10s in his first full-time truck season, finished second in the championship, and he'll be back full-time this year. We'll really can't wait to see what this kid does going into 2021.
Yeah,
So
I mean, Zane Smith, he came up, he did that part-time schedule for Junior Motorsports in the 8 car 2 years ago, and he kind of just really struggled there. So I kind of didn't really have him on my radar. But damn, last year he just took off in the truck series, and it's just I'm really excited to what he can do this year. I really do think he can go out and win that championship this year for sure, because he proved that he could get it done last year. So this year, 2021 is going to be a good year for that kid.
Yeah,
yeah,
and he does
absolutely.
say he does have some exciting racing news that he'll be announcing on February 1st. So, who knows what that could mean? He could have a Cup ride, Xfinity ride. Should be exciting for the young talented driver.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. People on pit lane and in the garage. There's a lot of people saying that he's one of, if not the most talented young gun in NASCAR right now, from guys that aren't in the Cup Series. So really a guy to keep an eye on here. So well, all right, guys. We talked about some guys that were on fire last year on the racetrack in the Truck Series. Now let's go to the other way. Let's talk about some guys that really struggled in 2020. And we're looking at some veterans here. Johnny Sauter and Stuart Friesen really had tough 2020s, combined for 0 wins and 6 top fives. Again, combined for 2 guys that Johnny Sauter is one of the mainstays and been one of the strongest competitors in the Truck Series year in and year out. Really, down season for him. And then Stuart Friesen went from championship contender to I don't even know what you want to call it.
Well, they switched manufacturers. I think that's really what killed him because, well, he was with, I think, Chevy before, right? And then he went to Toyota.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when he was with Chevy, he looked really promising in 2019. And then last season, it just, he was running for like 11th, like every race.
And you
Yeah,
can
it
make the
was.
same kind of argument with Johnny Sauter with ThorSport when ThorSport went to Ford. Seemed
Hmm.
like they as a team, they've never really been the same there, but he's just struggled so much more
Oh, yeah, just
than anybody else.
listen to Johnny Sauter's radio from last year. That'll tell you how his season went. Oh my goodness, I feel bad for that team. I pray for them. I hope they do okay this year, so Johnny Sauter doesn't kill him in the radio every single week. But yeah, that was really surprising. Sauter won his first championship a couple of seasons ago, and we're like, okay, he's just gonna keep building on that, and he took a drop, and so did Friesen. The Friesen one still does surprise me the most. So because 2 years ago on our first kind of championship 4 preview show, we were like, all right, Stuart Friesen can win this thing, and then there we were last year. We weren't even talking about him in the playoffs. It was just
Yeah.
crazy. So it'll be interesting to see if those guys can rebound this year.
Yeah, and I feel like for Johnny Sauter, too, he was just so comfortable with GMS racing for so long, and then he made the switch over to ThorSport, and I just feel like they've never really clicked ever since he got into the 13.
Yeah, it's like once he came back home to ThorSport, where he kind of started in the trucks, it just never really worked out for him. And the other stinker part of it too, if you think back, basically stole a seat away from Myatt Snyder in the
Snyder, yeah.
process. So Snyder's on to bigger and better things running the Xfinity series, which I'm sure
Oh
Nick
yeah.
is going to touch on some in a minute here. But yeah, nonetheless, really tough years for those guys. They're going to really look to be rebounding into 2021. So, guys, looking forward to 2021. I've got some predictions. First and foremost, we've kind of talked about already. Zane Smith's going to continue to impress in the 21 in 21. Back for a second full-time season. I believe he's going to have multiple wins and he's going to be a serious championship contender. He was last year, but out of a surprise. But now the expectations, I think, are going to be on him. Can he rise to the occasion? I think he can. I don't think we saw anything last year which puts any kind of doubt into my mind that he can deal with it when it gets hot in the kitchen. So moving on, I think John Hunter Nemechek's going to have a dominant season in the Truck Series. And you know what, boys? He needs to. So his career is on the line with this move. If it doesn't work out here, who knows what's next for John Hunter? So if he wants to get back up to Cup and get into a competitive situation, he's got to really show his mettle here, go out and get multiple wins, be in the championship 4, and hell, probably win the championship if he wants to keep on going to racing. But then again, it's a mutually beneficial thing because, as you guys know, KBM as a whole has been down the last couple of years as well. So 2 years in a row, Kyle's been very critical of his drivers. They really need to turn around this year. So I think both KBM and JHN could benefit from a really strong 2021. Next, guys, I'm gonna I'm going to predict our boy Stewie Friesen returns to form a little bit this year. I think they're going to have the kinks worked out over there. I think you're going to see him, get back to his normal form. But I have a feeling Johnny Sauter's still going to struggle. That's just my feeling. We'll see what happens there. Moving on, I think GMS is going to struggle after parting ways with Brett Moffitt. If Moffitt was their strongest truck again last year, one of the guys they brought in to replace him, Rafael Lessard, again, he was one of those KBM drivers that struggled. So he's coming into a team that kind of struggled last year outside of Brett Moffitt. The lineup around them, I don't know what you're going to get from rookie Chase Purdy. That remains to be seen. Their strongest truck very possibly could be Tyler Ankrum. So here's a team that we think of as probably the top Chevy team. We're going to see what happens there. So who knows? I could see them kind of taking a step backwards. Equally, I think Brett Moffitt isn't going to have as strong a year in the number 45 Nice truck. We saw what former Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bayne could do in that truck last year, and he could only really be competitive at moments. He was close in the what was that, Talladega, right?
Talladega,
Nick? That he almost
almost
won last year.
Mhm.
Bristol, Trevor was competitive until the DQ, but other than that, that truck just wasn't on par with other teams. So here's a guy that's got a championship pedigree going there. Hopefully he'll make them better, but I don't think we're going to see him be the contender that he normally is.
It's just the mechanical issues at Nice Motorsports. Like I couldn't even the 45 truck had multiple, just that whole organization and their mechanical issues. And I just really think with no practice for a small team like that, that I just think that's going to continue to happen. And we saw how Moffitt was at the end of his GMS stint, how angry he was. I just don't see this being a really better situation for him. I really don't.
I don't, and that's why to me it's a question mark bringing a guy like that into a situation like this. You know what it is. You know it's going to be a situation where they have to build. I think they would have been better off going with a veteran. Not saying he isn't a veteran, but somebody like that also looking to kind of, resurge their career and can help grow with the team a little bit.
All right.
So,
All right.
Last bullet point for me, guys. I think Hailie Deegan is going to struggle early in the season, but I think she's going to find her legs as the season goes on. People feel one way or another about Hailie Deegan. I think she's going to come in, like I said, there is going to be a little bit of a learning curve, but I think she's talented enough that once she gets the hang of the truck, she's going to be fine. ARCA's ARCA. I don't, put a whole lot of stock into ARCA results. I think it's really hard and a little bit unfair to do. We're really going to see what she's made of in the truck series here, because she's coming into what could be a halfway competitive ride here. So, in my opinion, she should be on the back end of the playoff cut here, fighting for one of those last couple spots, and we'll see if that happens. Right. Way too early predictions, boys. I have our champion, Zane Smith. The most wins, John Hunter Nemechek. I'm going to go ahead and say he gets 6 wins this year. And I think our final 4 going into Phoenix is going to be Zane Smith, John Hunter Nemechek. My boy Ben Rhodes is going to get one more spot and get into the championship 4, and Sheldon Creed.
All right.
Some very bold predictions right there. I like it.
Absolutely, my dude.
All right, Nick, what you got for the Xfinity Series in 2021?
All right. Well, yep. The 2021 NASCAR Xfinity Series is shaping up to be probably, in my opinion, one of the most exciting seasons we're going to see across all of NASCAR, including with the Cup and the Truck Series. I mean, just look at the firepower that's coming to this series. But before we get into all of that, kind of just want to go back a little bit at the 2020 season. That was a hell of a season right there. Yeah, Austin Cindric had that breakout year that included 6 wins. He even got even got a couple on an oval, 19 top 5s, 26 top 10s, 947 laps led, and was crowned the 2020 NASCAR Xfinity Series champion. Something I don't think any of us thought was going to happen at the beginning of the year. Go back and listen to our earlier videos. And you're moving on. Chase Briscoe, he had a dominant season as well. He came up short at Phoenix. He's on to bigger and better things now. Noah Gragson had a solid sophomore season. And then he had that unbelievable playoff run as well, securing finishes of second, third, second, 36, second, third, and second. I don't know, guys. Had he not finished 36 in that Kansas race and found a way into the championship four, he was right up there with the leaders at the end of that Phoenix race, and he could have been a threat to win it all there. And then lastly, looking back on the 2020 season, that 8 car, it struggled big time. Daniel Hemrick had the biggest woes ever in the 2020 season, 21 races in 2020. He had issues in 9 of those and resulted in 7 DNFs, failed to find victory lane yet again in another NASCAR season. Ended up finishing the year with 7 top 5s, 12 top 10s. 2 of those top 5s being second place finishes. I don't know. For me, 2021 make or break season for Daniel Hemrick career wise. That
Make
was a
or
crazy
break, as we say it, on his birthday.
on his
Yeah.
birthday. Yeah, it's crazy thing. It's the truth though. But now Xfinity Series schedule, we had a couple shape ups going into 2021. We got the earlier Homestead date. The season kicks off February 13th with the Beef. It's What for Dinner 300 at Daytona. A couple other notables. The Xfinity Series hits up the Circuit of the Americas at on May 22nd. That's going to be an exciting road course race for sure. The Xfinity Series also heads to Nashville for the first time in a while. Saturday, June 19th. And then with that second Atlanta date, and then they're making a return to the Indianapolis road course on August 14th, shaping up for an exciting schedule there. But now, yeah, guys, new year, new team for a lot of these drivers here. So we're going to jump right into it. First guy, it was announced back in November. Brett Moffitt's going to go full-time as well and the number 02 Our Motorsports Chevrolet. Last year, for that team, they were pretty solid for a small budget team. They had some top 10 runs in there. It'll be interesting to see what Moffitt's able to do with Our Motorsports this year. And then Mike was just mentioning it about 5-10 minutes ago, talking about the kid who lost his ride to Johnny Sauter a couple years back, Myatt Snyder. He's going to be driving the number 2 Richard Childress Racing Chevrolet full time in 2021. That was announced back in December, guys. I think Myatt Snyder's poised to have a good season.
Oh,
Yeah, I think he's
absolutely.
another one. I wouldn't say it's must like make or break time for him, but this is a big opportunity, man. You got to make the most of it. I thought he impressed in his rookie season in the Truck Series a couple years back, and never really got a great opportunity to come back and build on that. Kind of bounced around since. So here's a full-time opportunity. You got to make the most of this.
Yeah, and he showed a lot of talent in the 21 and the 93 last season in the Xfinity Series. Yeah, I think the kid's got a lot of talent, and he's moving in to the 2 car. It's a championship winning car, and I really think he could put himself into the playoffs, get a win or 2.
Oh, let's see what happens. I'm excited to see what mine's able to do. Moving on, I think big time fan favorite here, Landon Castle is returning to JD Motorsports to drive that 4 car again. He'll be driving full time in the 2021 season. And Jesse Little, the former driver of the number 4 car, he's moving on to BJ McLeod Motorsports. He'll be driving the 78. But I think it's good to see Landon Castle back in a full time opportunity. We saw what he was able to do with Morgan Shepherd.
Yeah.
When that car had equipment that could run a full race, he was right up there in the top 12, top 15. So I'm excited to see what Landon does going forward.
Yeah, me too. I'm also excited to see Jesse Little drive for Nick's stepdad, BJ.
I wish, man. I wish. And then moving on, we got another new kid coming in for a full-time season. That is driver of the number 6 JD Motorsports Chevrolet. That is Ryan Vargas.
Your buddy.
My good pal, Ryan Vargas. He'll be competing for Rookie of the Year this year. Vargas, he's run a couple races the last 2 years for JD Motorsports. Did all right, and now here he is. He's in for a full season. We all saw how emotional he got on Twitter, so cool to see. Well, let's see what happens for Ryan Vargas this season, I guess.
It's like the nicest thing you've ever said about him.
Gotta keep it professional, boys.
That was towing the line of professionalism as much as humanly possible.
As much as I could right there.
All right, for those of you watching at home, I promise the private conversations are not that diplomatic.
Yeah, we'll see what happens for him. Congratulations on a 21st place finish, bud. You really earned it. But
Jesus.
Oh man.
moving on here. The 8 car for Junior Motorsports has been vacated with Daniel Hemrick and Jeb Burton moving on. So we got some new kids coming up in there. Josh Berry, he drives for Junior in the late models down over there. He's going to be in for 12 races this season. Some races early on in the season. And then we got a road course specialist. Miguel Paludo is going to come in and he's going to do 3. He's expected to do 3 road course races: the Daytona Road Course, Circuit of the Americas, in Mid Ohio.
Man, it looks like he'll be having Brandt on as a sponsor
Yeah, he's going to have
too.
Brandt on as a sponsorship, so that's big for him. And then Dale's going to come back. He's going to do a race. They've been hinting at Martinsville, so we'll see what happens there. But the next guy I'm about to say here, I think he's going to be one of the next up and coming future superstars of this series, and that's Sam Mayer. Sam Mayer, he's a 3-time ARCA East champion. Kid's poised with talent. We saw what he did in the trucks last year. He won at Bristol. So I'm really excited to see Sam Mayer. He turns 18 on June 26th, and after his 18th birthday, he's going to close out the rest of the season with Junior Motorsports. I'm keeping my eyes on Sam Mayer for sure.
And he just unfollowed me on Twitter. What's up, Sam? What's up?
Well,
What's up?
Well, you know what it is now. He's a big time hot shot now coming up to the Xfinity series. He drives all the women on Twitter wild.
Yeah.
Getting checkers, breaking hearts. So no, I think he's going to be a stud going forward. I can't wait to see where that kid's at in 3-4 years. He's going to be an absolute animal. I'm thinking Austin Cindric, Chase Briscoe territory for him.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. He just succeeds in everything that he's been in so far, so this should be no different.
Yeah, we saw him tear it up at Iowa Speedway too in the K&N race.
Was that him who won?
Yeah, he's the one that got the win at the K&N race.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, he's going to light it up for sure. Absolutely. Moving along here. Some sponsorship announcements for Noah Gregson. Bass Pro True Timber Black Rifle Coffee is going to be the sponsor for the entire season coming up here in 2021. That's going to be exciting.
Sexy scheme.
Such a good-looking race car. And then we got a new driver for the number 10 Cog Racing Chevrolet. This is a guy who I think deserves a full-time ride. This is going to be his first full-time ride since the 2014 Truck Series season, and that's Jeb Burton. He's got Nutrient Ag Solutions on board. He's going to be taking over for Ross Chastain, who's moving on to bigger and better things that Ian will talk about in a little bit. But yeah, Jeb Burton, he was super consistent in all of his time with Junior Motorsports. He's another one who's going to be flying under the radar, I think, a little bit in this 2021 season. I think he could surprise some people.
Yeah, Jeb had some pretty good runs in the 8 in the last couple of years. Like you said, Nick, he's a guy you really, really enjoy getting a full-time opportunity. I think he's another one of those guys. Hope he makes the best of it. If there's a guy I'd put my money on to do it, it'd be him.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And then some other news. This was reported back in December. Colby Howard's going to drive the number 15 JD Motorsports car full-time. Colby, up-and-coming star as well. He's done well in that low-budget equipment. We'll see what he can do. And then another Cog Racing Chevrolet is going to be running full-time next season, and that's going to be with the Dinger. AJ Allmendinger is going to drive the 16 full-time. I think this is something everybody wanted to see. Since losing his ride from the Cup Series years ago, Allmendinger's come back to the Xfinity Series, and he's just absolutely lit it up. He is always out there contending for race wins. So I think he's going to be a serious threat coming in 2021, and it's a feel-good story because AJ Allmendinger is just such a cool dude.
Oh, yeah.
And then some other news. This is my favorite one on the list, as I am wearing a Joe Gibbs Racing t-shirt.
Currently burning your skin.
Currently burning my skin. Never thought it was going to have to come to this. Daniel Hemrick got tabbed to drive the number 18 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota. I found out, and I was just like, it was the last place that I expected him to go, but I'm super excited for it. He's got Poppy Bank coming on board. Dave Rogers is going to be the crew chief, full-time schedule. I think that's going to benefit Hemrick. You can never really get your feet your feet dipped in the water that well when you're running a part-time schedule. So, and like I said earlier, this is make or break for him. This could make or break his career right here. So he's got to go out and perform. But I feel good things coming for Mr. Hemrick coming this
Well,
season.
it's another one of those things to me where, like, looking back on the John Hunter KBM situation, it's kind of similar to me because that 18 car really hasn't done that well the last couple of seasons, especially with Riley Herbst behind the wheel
Yeah.
of it. So now you got an absolute wheelman in what should be a rocket ship on the racetrack. So hopefully Nick gets into victory lane a couple times this year. So
I need it. It's
I
been
need-
7 years.
I need to see a Nick victory celebration
Coming
this
up
year.
on it's coming up on 8 years since a driver ever did a 4-1 race.
Ooh, yowza.
Oh man.
Oh no! First one of the season. All right, and then some news. Austin Cindric, he's returning for a full season and will run a partial Cup Series schedule before heading over to Wood Brothers Racing in 2022. I don't like that move, but yeah, it is what it is. And then, interesting, Santino Ferrucci is going to drive for Sam Hunt Racing in select races this year. Santino, he drove in F2 and IndyCar, so it's an interesting move, him coming over to NASCAR. He's going to be driving in Homestead, Vegas, Phoenix, Atlanta, and Martinsville this year. It'll be interesting to see what he's going to do.
Yeah, being our resident IndyCar fan of the group here, Santino Ferrucci was one of the hottest. Him and Colton Herta, two of the young hot rookies coming up in IndyCar. I was really surprised to see that he's making this move. One thing I think is going to be awesome for him, maybe next to my boy Alexander Rossi, he's probably one of the most exciting guys to watch on the ovals. You look back at his performances at the Indy 500 and Texas and a couple of other places they run. He's all over the place, going wheel to wheel with guys in those open wheel cars, which is crazy to begin with. I think his talent and his racing style blends so well with NASCAR that this is going to be a really good, fun thing to watch for racing fans, especially people who aren't really familiar with Santino Ferrucci. You will be in a couple months, I promise.
And then just announced within the past couple days here, Jordan Anderson is moving on up to the Xfinity Series. He's going to be driving full-time in the number 31 Jordan Anderson Racing Chevrolet. Jordan, he's another feel-good guy. He usually had some underfunded equipment in his Truck Series time. He almost won at Daytona last year. He's kind of a fan favorite. I hope this works out well for him because he's also one of those other guys. He's a really cool dude. So I wish him nothing but the best in his first full-time Xfinity Series campaign.
Yeah, that's another guy that just puts his heart out on the track, and he puts all the work in. He doesn't have that many guys working in his shop. He's always working on his cars and his trucks. So I give the guy a lot of credit for, doing what he does and trying to make a living for himself.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He's one of those guys you really like to root for. He's blue collar to the core. Talk about a guy that reminds you of the beginnings in NASCAR. Look no further.
Absolutely. Ryan Sieg, his team switched over to Ford. So not a lot of Ford cars in the Xfinity Series. So as many Fords as they can get this year will be helpful for them for sure. And Ryan Sieg's just another one of those guys who always outperforms in the equipment he's in. So I'm sure he's slated. He's in for another good season. Like I mentioned earlier, Jesse Little's going to drive the number 78 car for BJ McLeod Motorsports. And then the big one that I still don't understand, Riley Herbst is going to drive the 98 car for Stewart Haas Racing. He's going to have Monster Energy on board. He had a horrible year last year. This one doesn't suit well with me.
Sometimes Tony just wants to make money. I mean, look at what he did when he signed Danica. This is basically just another Danica signing just so he can have Monster back on board with the team.
Well, Nick, I think you misspoke a little bit there. Riley Herbst isn't going to drive the number 90. He's going to crash the number 90.
He's going to destroy that thing.
He's going to destroy it, yeah.
You might as well just set the shop on fire now.
Yeah,
I think what they really wanted to do here, they got that composite body. They really want to see what the limits on that bad boy are.
That's just it's going to be wild to see how that car is about to go from 9 race wins a year ago to none in just a year.
For the record, for most DNFs.
Yeah, for most DNFs. And then the last big move here is that number 54 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota. That is what we like to call the superstar car. We're gonna have a lot of guys funneling into that system. Guys like Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, and Martin Truex Jr. surprised me. Truex has not run an Xfinity race in years, so it was kind of weird to see his name on there. And then within the past few days, there's two other guys who's going to be driving that car. Ty Dillon, I think this is a good move for him. He's going to compete in at least 4 races for Joe Gibbs Racing. He's going to be at Daytona, Homestead, Vegas, and Talladega. And he's also, Ian will talk about his Cup story here in a little bit. But good for Ty. I didn't want to see him out of the sport completely. I respect the guy, and I hope he's able to find some success here in the 54.
Yeah, Ty is a guy it's really hard not to like, could easily rest on his last name and his grandfather's name and, try to find his way into a car with that system. But he didn't want to do that. He kind of ventures out on his own and likes to do his own thing and make his own name. And I respect the hell out of that. So yeah, I hope he goes out and wins a race or two in that. And that'd be really cool to see him set himself up for 2022, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And then as I'm stealing this, we got ×2 for the number 54 car because Ty Gibbs is also going to be racing this 54 car this year. He's going to make his debut on the Daytona Road Course. And alongside Sam Mayer, I think Ty Gibbs is the absolute real deal here. That kid gets in and he's going to run a full ARCA schedule this year. That kid gets in whatever he needs to get into, and he just goes out and flat out dominates. So I really do expect Ty Gibbs to have a monstrous, successful 2021 season.
Yeah, I mean, that kid lit up the ARCA series last year for the races that he could compete in. So I don't see any reason why he'll be the ARCA champ by the end of the season.
Yeah.
There's number 2.
There's number 2 really quickly. All right, guys. So like Mike did some predictions for the truck series, I also have my own predictions here for how this 2021 Xfinity series is going to play out. First one, not really too bold. I think Austin Cindric and Noah Gragson are going to be the 2 most dominant cars in 2021. I could easily see 6 to 8 wins out of this 22 car this season, and he can be in the hunt to defend his title before moving up to the Cup Series to drive the 21 car in 2022. And for Gragson, I think it's really simple. Just tone that aggression down a little bit. Don't wreck your teammates. And I don't see why this 9 car can't get at least 5 wins on the year, make the Final 4, and win a title in 2021.
The aggression works. Just don't be too aggressive.
Just don't wreck your teammates.
It worked at Bristol, but
yeah, I don't think Mr. Allgaier will like that one too much.
Too soon, man.
Too soon. And then second prediction, Riley Herbst is going winless in 2021, despite being in the 98.
That goes without being said.
Well, you went on a limb for that one, bud.
Yeah, really went on a limb. Sure, Herbst is moving to arguably the top team in the Xfinity Series. He ain't going to rise to the occasion. Like I said, 8 DNFs, failed to get out of the first round of the playoffs, and finished below Ryan Sieg and Brandon Brown in points. 2 teams with way less funding than Joe Gibbs Racing.
Yeah,
that's a disappointment right there. So I see him running 7 to 13 all year long. No wins, not making the Final 4. And this is an absolute make or break season, I think, for Riley Herbst. If he can't perform, I don't see why anybody would want to take him going into 2022. I just don't see his NASCAR career going any further than this if he can't perform this race car. And then AJ Allmendinger has good success in 2021, but I don't see him being a championship contender. I just don't. We all thought last year when Ross Chastain came in to drive this for Cog Racing that he would be the most dominant car in the Xfinity Series and cruise to a championship. That didn't happen, and I believe that's what's going to happen with the people, what they have to say about AJ Allmendinger as well. Now, while I think he misses the Final 4, I could see him easily pulling out 4 to 6 wins with the road courses we're going to in 2021, and he's been able to prove that he can win on the ovals as well, winning in Atlanta. It's going to be fun seeing him run full-time this season, but I'm predicting a round of 8 exit for the Dinger.
Oh, wow.
Still a respectable season.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's not like he's going to have a horrible season like Ross Chastain couldn't win in that car last year. AJ Allmendinger, I still think is going to squeak out a couple wins, so it'll be very
Yeah.
a really respectable season for Allmendinger. And then my last prediction is we're gonna have multiple first time winners in the Xfinity Series this season. Like look at the guys on this roster who haven't won a race yet, and it's go time. And the first one I'm going to talk about is my boy, is Daniel Hemrick. Make a break for him in that 18 team. It's 2021. You have to find victory lane. If that doesn't change, his career might be in jeopardy. But I think this is the year he finally gets it done. He said in multiple interviews that he finally thinks he has everything he needs to go out and win, and I believe him. In 2021, I think he's going to get at least 2 to 3, and we're going to finally see that backflip. And with this consistency, guys, honestly, he could find himself in his third Xfinity Series Final Four. He's a really consistent race car driver, and I think if he can just go out and get the monkey off his back, finally get himself a win or two, he could be right in that championship hunt.
Yeah, no doubt.
Another guy I think is getting his first win this year, and that we talked about him earlier. I'm going with the 10 car, Jeb Burton. Jeb Burton has run really well on the super speedway tracks in years past. He flirted with victory lane in a few of those races this past season, and now he's with Collard Racing, guys. And Collard Racing in the Xfinity Series on a super speedway track, they've been dominant the past like 2 seasons. So I think he's going to win at Talladega this year for his first career win, and I think it should be a really feel-good story right there. And then my last one, Ty Gibbs is making his Xfinity Series debut in the 54 car. I believe Ty Gibbs and Sam Mayer are going to be the next big-time superstars in NASCAR. Now, while I think Mayer is going to run really solid when he takes over the 8 car after he turns 18, I'm predicting Ty Gibbs gets himself a win this season in that 54 car and set himself up real nice for 2022, where I expect him to run full time in the Xfinity Series for JGR. Depending on how many races he gets, I just think with a guy like Ty Gibbs, he just adapts so well to what he's in. And he's driving the 54 car, he's driving the superstar car. So I could expect him to go get himself a win if he like enters in like a Dover race or something like that. That's going to be my prediction. He gets himself into a Dover race, he's going to win it.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, the kid is just absolutely incredible on the race car. So yeah, I could definitely see him getting a win or even 2.
Yeah, he could be. And then lastly for me is my way too early prediction. So most wins in the 2021 season, I have to go with the 22 car of Austin Cindric. I think last year was just a start for what he's going to be able to do going forward, and I expect another dominant year out of him. Here's where it gets fun, though, is my Final Four and my champion. My Final Four is Austin Cindric, Noah Gragson, Harrison Burton, and Daniel Hemrick is going to squeak his way in there. And my champion,
we have not talked about Harrison Burton.
We have not talked about Harrison Burton, but guys, my 2021 Xfinity Series champion is Harrison Burton. That kid lit up the end of the Xfinity Series last year. He had those back-to-back wins. He finished the year with 4 wins. I think he just flew under the radar all year long, and I think the kid's just going to get better from here on out. He had a dominant run in the playoffs. It was unfortunate that he couldn't advance, but I just think he has an even stronger sophomore season, and I think Harrison Burton's going to fly under the radar again, and then he's just going to sneak up on you, and I think he's going to take the title.
I think it's possible. I think he was a very easy candidate to fly under the radar last year because the stories were dominated by the 22 and the 98 last year. Maybe with the exception of Mr. Gragson, you didn't really hear that much about too many other guys, you know. And the thing is, he had a sneaky good season last year. So again, so a little more expectations on him this year. He's going to be one of the more premier guys in the series. So go out and get it done. And I think he's another one. He's got all the talent in the world to do it.
Yeah, I think he's going to. So that is my champion right there, is Mr. Harry Burton, and then it'll be interesting to see where he goes from there.
Oh, yeah. I'm really excited for this year's Xfinity Series. I think it's got a great mix of guys that like, hey, it's make or break time, and like young, hungry rookies all coming up. Then you sprinkle your Justin Allgaier veteran, your Dinger veteran in there, guys like that. I think it makes for one hell of a storyline. You've got everybody in all different walks of their career again in the Xfinity Series, which is cool. So it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch this.
It's gonna be really entertaining. And what they say, names are made here, and we're gonna see some names being made here in the 2021 season. I am so pumped for this season to kick off on February 13th.
Oh yeah, and yeah, the Xfinity Series puts off the best racing that we see in all 3 series, and I am just so excited for this season to kick off.
Yep, I was actually Ian, you just beat me to a point. I was actually going to say I'm going to make my bold prediction for the year. The Xfinity Series has by far and away the best racing
Oh
again.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
All right, guys. So now let's get into the Cup Series. So I'm just gonna say right here, it was announced that Noah Gragson will be making an attempt to run the Daytona 500 with Beard Motorsports in the 62 car. That's the car that Brendan Gaughan was racing in the super speedway races. I'm just excited. This is such a great opportunity for Noah Gragson. We know he's really, really good on the super speedways with that win that he got at Daytona. And I'm really excited what he can do because we've seen that 62 car run up front before. So I'm excited.
You think he's going to flip the 62 more or less than Brendan Gaughan?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous, honestly. Well, first of all, he's gonna have to qualify his way in,
Yeah.
and then if he can stay out of trouble and try not to force any moves, he just stays in line all day and then makes a run for it. I think that could be a respectful Daytona 500 for him. But yeah, I mean, the 62 car is a good super speedway car. If he can just stay out of trouble and stay smart, first things first, he's got to make the race.
Yeah, exactly. But I want a Trevor Baynes story where this young kid
yeah.
wins the Daytona 500.
Dude, I don't think we're ever gonna see anything like that again.
Yeah, that was a one and done.
That was a one and done. That was crazy.
It is Daytona.
That's the thing.
You could have basically anyone who's still out there with minimal damage can win that race.
Absolutely. And, it's one of those things where he's shown, talent and speed in the super speedway races before. So, but Noah, if you're watching, because I know you and Ian are BFFs. So if you do watch our show, Sneaky, I got two guidelines for you. Then you and I are good. Stay away from Ryan, stay away from Bubba, and we're fine.
Stay away from Dibby and we're all good to go. You want to take out the rest of the field by all means necessary, go for it, pal.
And Connor in the group chat brought it up. He was like, "What are you gonna do if Kevin and Noah wreck into each other? Who are you gonna blame?" And I think I'm just gonna fight myself. I'm just gonna beat the shit out of myself or something. I don't know.
You do the same thing I do when Bubba and Blaney wreck each other. It's like, this race sucks. I'm gonna go drink now.
No kidding. But I'm excited for that. And Ross Chastain, the Melon Man, he'll be teamed up with Kurt Busch. With Chip Ganassi Racing, Ross will be driving the 42, which Chip Ganassi Racing is going to have McDonald's on as his primary sponsor. Good for Ross Chastain. We know that this guy has been, driving his heart out for years, trying to get with a big team. He was driving with JD Motorsports for a while. Finally got to Nice Motorsports, picked off a few wins, and now it's just smooth sailing from here going to the 42 car.
Yeah, something I talked about last year. I thought this was the most opportunistic way to play everything for CGR. With the Larson stuff coming out the way it did, I thought it'd be really unfair to thrust this kid into a situation like that where he's got expectations on him in a very competitive race car that he's not familiar with in a goofy COVID season with no practice and qualifying. I know going into this year, we're only going to have limited practice and qualifying, but at the same time, he's had some time to kind of prepare. He'll get the full season. So I think this is probably as good a way to come into a situation like this as he could have hoped for.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I think he's more than deserving of this opportunity. And I'm with Mike. I'm glad they waited to do this and they didn't throw him under the fire last season. The only other thing that worries me is we've seen it. Chip Ganassi Racing, they don't have race winning speed, and that's what's going to kind of suck there. So my realistic expectations for Ross Chastain this year and what I think is going to happen, he's going to get some top 10 finishes, yes, but I think he's going to be more around a 12th to 15th place race car, and I think he's going to be fighting for one of the last spots to get in his first year. Maybe he goes out and surprises us. Maybe he doesn't. It's just the speed that CGR has. It's just not telling me that he's just going to just shoot out of the gates here.
Yeah. And that's actually one of my predictions, I guess, is that Chastain goes winless this year because how slow these CGR cars are. We saw Kurt, he got lucky with the Kentucky win and the Vegas wins because he got out in front at the perfect time, and he was out there for like NASCAR overtime, and he was able to take the lead right there. So I guess if you put yourself in that position, yeah, I can see him getting a win, but just with how, we saw Matt Kenseth in the 42 ride, we know that he is a talented race car driver, and we saw how he was in the 6, and that car sucked too. So yeah, it's going to be a rough season for Mr. Mellon, man.
So, and I think that just kind of, coincides with the season we're looking forward to here. I mean, it's a lame duck year for the current package.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure how much money any of these teams have been willing to, pour into race cars this year, knowing damn well next year we're going to a brand new package altogether.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's one of those things you ride it out this year, and you hope next year when you get in the next gen car, things are different. I think that's the strategy for them this year.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. So another change in 2021. We're going to have Clint Bowyer in the Fox Sports booth. Definitely going to be adding that excitement element to the Fox Sports booth ever since DW left. And Clint Bowyer, he's going to be paired up with his old good buddy, Jeff Gordon.
I think it calls for great entertainment is what we're going to see here.
Yeah.
The past couple years was just Jeff and Mike calling races. It's been boring. I'm sorry. Like it'll put you to sleep there. So you got this really energetic guy, Clint Bowyer, the butt heads with Mike and Jeff. I think it's going to be really entertaining, honestly. But I'm kind of more excited. Did you guys see the Xfinity broadcast booth for Daytona with Tony Stewart? Going to be with Clint.
Yeah.
Tony's going to be with Clint and Adam Alexander.
That is going
to be an entertaining race to watch right there.
Man, they better get ready to bleep those guys. Oh my God.
I would pay, like, if you had a subscription for like $5 a month to watch Tony, Clint, and somebody like Adam Alexander call races, but it was like your premium unedited feed. So you just watch them Mother F and this and that. That would be awesome.
So you're saying that Clint and Tony need to make an OnlyFans.
And only racers.
Only racers. There you go.
Yeah, but that should be exciting. This is definitely what Fox Sports needed.
Yeah. And Ian, also, I was thinking along the lines of like an ESPN Plus paid subscription or something, but I see where your head's at.
Yeah. No.
Oh, my.
And speaking of the media side of NASCAR, it looks like that NBCSN will be just getting rid of itself at the end of the year. And it looks like races that are scheduled for NBCSN will be on USA now. But, big races like, the start of the playoffs and the championship race, those will still be on NBC. So it's going to be weird having races on USA. It's going to be like how like races were on like TNT or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's a soft transition to everything going to NBC and then Peacock. You guys know I'm a big wrestling fan. WWE just signed a $1 billion deal with Peacock. The WWE Network's going to be going to Peacock now. I think Peacock is just buying up everything. It's like them and ESPN Plus fighting for the rights for everything. And NASCAR is going to be in the middle here. But you know what, though, guys? I think that's a very good opportunity for the sport to bring in some huge money and revenues because you see what some of these other places are making. Again, I said WWE signed for $1 billion with a B.
Yeah.
So that would be a very welcome addition for NASCAR to get themselves into a situation like that in the next couple of years.
I wonder what that means for like the NBC broadcast booth and everything. Are they gonna send those boys over to USA Network, or
no?
are we gonna see some new commentators in there?
USA is a part of NBC, so USA is basically gonna play like the NBCSN races, and then the big races will still be on Channel 5.
Yeah, it'll still be an NBC broadcast just on USA Network.
I was like, we're not about to lose Frickin' Junior, like
I know we just got him.
The best thing we had.
We just got him, and now we're gonna say goodbye to him. Rick Allen, sure, hit the door. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, but don't take away Dale.
I need my slide job. Hey, look over there.
Oh, And so Kyle Larson has just announced that he just got a sponsor on the number 5. He's got Nation's Guard. I think it's a pretty cool looking car. It's black and green. So good for Kyle that he's got a sponsor to help him out through this year.
He's got a sponsor, but it's still through Hendrick. So it's kind of he didn't go and get himself an outside sponsor yet, but still it's nice to see something on the race car other than like a Hendrick Cars thing.
Yeah.
Even though that the sponsor is through Hendrick.
And it's going to be a lot faster than that 42.
My opinion on that car, I'm kind of disappointed with it. I was looking forward to seeing something blue like what they've been teasing with all of his merch and everything. I personally give his Daytona car 5 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a B2B sponsorship. It's, business that Hendrick works closely with. So, like you said, good to see something on the car. It's not going to look like one of them small teams, like a jet black car with just a Hendrick Motorsports logo on there or something like that. So that's nice to see. So, yeah.
All right, and then we know Mr. Bubba Wallace. He's got a handful of sponsors coming into this season with the new 23XI Racing, or I should say 2311 Racing. He's going to have DoorDash, McDonald's, Dr. Pepper, Columbia's coming back on. He's a handful of sponsors, so hopefully they'll have a lot of fast cars this year for Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin, and Bubba Wallace.
Yeah, this is the thing I am by far and away looking forward to the most going into 2021. Bubba stepping into a very, very solid situation here. I think he can drive. Everyone's got their opinion on Bubba. I'm a fan. I think he's talented. I just don't think he's always been in situations where he can showcase that well. And the times that he does get the equipment to do it, he does so. I think you're going to see a boatload of it this year. So, Bubba's gone out there and he predicted 2 wins. I don't know if I'd be quite that ambitious with a new team, but I think he's going to run a little better than people expect too. So
I agree. And don't get me wrong. Did they say that they had to turn down people they sold out of their primary spots already for the entire season? So I really do think that this 2311 team they're going to take off. I would love to see some success for Bubba Wallace. He deserves it. And what better way, even if he just gets himself 1 win, like what better way to start off a new team than winning the Daytona 500? So
I mean, he came in second in 43, so it's possible.
You guys, if he wins the Daytona 500, you guys will have to find another third co-host because I will be absolutely dead after that.
I think we'll all be dead after that, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be huge for the sport.
Oh, definitely. And then over at Bubba's Old Ride in the 43, Eric Jones will be piloting the iconic 43 for Richard Petty Motorsports. It is a downgrade from where he was. He was driving the 20 car, Tony Stewart's old ride that he won championships with and couldn't really do anything. He won Daytona, he won at Darlington, and then he won the Clash. That was pretty much it for Eric Jones with Joe Gibbs Racing, and really disappointing because we thought that this kid was going to have a lot of talent coming into the Cup Series from what we saw.
Do they have any sponsors? Do they have any sponsors announced for that 43 ride yet?
Yeah.
Air Force,
and I believe Worldwide Tech is staying with them, especially with oh God, no, I can't think of the name of it. The charity one.
Okay, the
Victory Junction. I'm sorry, I couldn't think of that for some reason.
I mean,
I read somewhere that Dave Stewart, that did everything through Victory Junction, through Worldwide Tech, the CEO of Worldwide Tech. I guess he has a special needs son, which I was unaware of. So he was super touched by everything with Victory Junction coming over. So I think they stayed on board with the 43. So, which I think is a classy move. Stay there and help them out. Obviously, Bubba doesn't need the financial help.
Yeah, he can't fit him. He can't fit him on the race car anymore. So it's just another. People are thinking that Eric's just going to go out and have success. It's not going to happen. There's been no change to that 43 car whatsoever. I don't expect him. I expect him to run around where Bubba was able to get that car. Maybe back half top 20, but he's going to be a mid-20s car. I just don't see he's bringing in. I haven't heard anything about him bringing in a dime of sponsorship money here. Those sponsors that he has. They've already been with the 43 team. So I just don't get people and how they think he's just going to go out and have success right away. It's going to be a lame duck year for him.
Yep.
Like this entire season's going to be. I just don't see him having any success.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
if-
really do wish him the best. He's a guy I'd
Yeah.
really like to see do well because he's a likable kid, very humble. Things just didn't work out for him at Joe Gibbs. They kind of, with some of their young guys, will chew him up and spit him out.
Yeah.
So he is one I would like to see go out and have a little more success. But I just, again, like you said, Nick, I just don't see it being a realistic possibility.
I
And
just don't.
He's a guy, you
Yeah.
look at his career once he's gotten to the NASCAR level from the trucks on up, he's only been in really, really well-funded race teams. So this is going to be a new experience for him. I don't understand the fit a lot. I think it's just one of those things where it was hey man,
I think it's
you're one of the
just
last guys left. We need a driver. Let's make this happen one way or
it's a
another.
1-year
Yeah.
deal. Is it a 1-year deal or is it a multi-year deal?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not really sure on the specifics, but yeah, it's like picking the last kid for kickball or something.
Yeah, which I don't even like that though, because it sounds like a knock on
Yeah.
him, because he's a really talented driver.
He's talented.
Yeah.
He just
I feel like it could be a knock on both.
But I think it's one of those things where it's like square peg, round hole. Like, all right, this isn't gonna fit, but based on the circumstance, we got to try to make it fit.
yeah, right. With him, it's just it sucked. It never worked out. And then, like we're saying here, Joe Gibbs Racing, with their driver development, they give you the short stick right away. You ain't gonna go out and perform. We are going to replace you.
Yep.
And I think that's what happened to Eric Jones. He was consistently running top 5, top 7. He just could not seal the deal. He could not go out and finish those races. We've seen him in front in some of those races that he could not go out and finish the deal. And I ultimately think that's why they let him go.
Mhm.
And that's why Christopher Bell's in that seat. It really sucks that Levine had to shut down because that could have been a nice place for Eric Jones to go. It would have been at least maybe a tad bit more competitive than
Yeah.
RPM. But yeah, it's going to be a really sad year for Eric Jones when we see him running 21st or 22nd.
Yeah, right. All right, and another former Joe Gibbs Racing driver, Daniel Suarez, will be driving for Trackhouse Racing, owned by Justin Marks and Pitbull, apparently.
Mr. 305.
Yeah, Mr. Worldwide. So Daniel Suarez, he'll be driving the 99 for Trackhouse Racing, and he's already got a few sponsors on there. He's got iFly.
Those cars look good.
They do. They look very, very good. He's got iFly, which is the indoor skydiving place, and he's got Pump It Up, which is a kids' party place that I used to work at, which is an absolute shithole. I must say, worst job I ever had, but it's a cool looking car. So, yeah, very cool for Daniel Suarez to land this ride with Justin Marks. And we know Justin Marks, he's been kind of in and out of the NASCAR system. He kind of likes to do like everything. I'm pretty sure he climbed Mount Everest a few years ago. And now he's trying with NASCAR ownership, and they got some big sponsors. So let's see what this team could do. I'm still not sold on Daniel Suarez, though, because he did have that opportunity to drive the 19 car. Couldn't really, show his talents. I guess he was, put into the car too quickly because Carl Edwards' departure. They kind of just put him in there without any notice. But still, the guy had 2 seasons with them and 1 season with SHR. And I just don't know how well he could do with this 99 team.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those things for them. It's, a upstart team. Yeah, they got some money coming in, but again, coming into a lame duck NASCAR season, I think it's going to be one of those things, whatever they get out of the season's a positive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think Pitbull coming on board, I think that's huge for the sport, and with the diversity that we're trying to be inclusive, that NASCAR is trying to say we're inclusive to all. So it's really cool to see Pitbull come on board, but I'm with Ian here. I've never been sold on Daniel Suarez. Really cool to see him win an Xfinity Series championship, and then it's just kind of all been downhill for him since, but we'll see what happens. I think it's definitely still going to be an upgrade from Gaunt Brothers Racing. I think that this will be a team. Maybe they can run high 20s, maybe even sneak their way into the back half of the top 20. Just don't know yet. We got to see this car hit the racetrack, but they're hyping it up like they could have something going on here. But when it comes down to it, I'm just not sold on Suarez. I'm really not.
Yeah. All right. So some other news with the Cup Series. It was just announced Keystone Light will be joining the 2 team for the Coca-Cola 600. It is just announced for one race so far for the Coca-Cola 600. They will be taking over as the sponsor that they had for Miller Lite. It is the same company with Coors Brewing that they got. So Brad Keselowski put a really cool video this morning that the Blue Deuce is back. It's cool looking car, but I do think that it is a major knockoff of Kevin Harvick's Busch scheme with the mountains in the background and everything. It's kind of like, Mom,
Keystone's a knockoff beer with fucking Busch is what it really is.
Yeah, it's like, Mom,
same...
can we get Busch Light? But we have Busch Light at home, and then it's Keystone Light.
Yeah, I just looked it up. Yeah. It's a decent enough looking race car.
Yeah,
but...
I mean, it looks nice.
I mean, it sucks that they're only going to be coming on for the Coke 600, though. I was hoping they were going to do more races, so
yeah,
that is sad to see. But yeah, cool car. Keystone follows the Stock Car Spectacle on Twitter, so maybe we can get some partnership through them or something.
Yeah, right. The ultimate college beer. All right, and some other sponsorship news. Dixie Vodka will be sponsoring Cole Custer this season. Another major sponsor. They sponsored the Homestead race last season, so pretty exciting news for Cole Custer. And then Austin Cindric will be making an attempt at the Daytona 500 in the number 33 Penske ride. Not the sharpest looking ride. I think the paint scheme, it looks nice. There's not too much to it, but
I don't like the font of the 33.
Yeah, the font looks weird, but it's cool to see that Verizon is coming back. They've been kind of a long-term Penske sponsor. We've seen them sponsor the Nationwide cars back in the day when Brad and Joey would run them sometimes. So pretty cool to see that sponsor coming back for Penske. All right, so we got some news with Jamie McMurray. He is going to be returning to the Cup Series to make a run at the Daytona 500 with Spire Motorsports. The car is going to be prepared by Chip Ganassi Racing, so he's going to be back with his old team.
Yeah, man. Some things are cooking up at Spire over there. They're looking like they're really trying to expand aggressively. You know, they bought up the Alan Kowicki shop, signed my guy, Corey LaJoy.
And that car looks beautiful.
Yes, there are some things going on over there. There's a team to watch over the next couple of years to see where they started to where they end up. It's Corey LaJoy and Spire Motorsports.
Oh, yeah.
Nick's
hope
favorite team.
Hope to see them get their first actual win in the next couple of years. Maybe, lead a lap under green, and then you got me sold.
There you go.
Don't even. You should change the subject before I really get going.
Yeah.
It's the first show of the year. Let's not get.
Yeah, we don't want to piss Nick off too much. All right, so Nick, you were talking about it earlier with Ty Dillon going with Joe Gibbs Racing part-time in the Xfinity Series, while he will also be running part-time with Gaunt Brothers Racing in 2021. Starting off with the Daytona 500. So pretty cool opportunity for Ty Dillon. We know that he kind of got the short end of the stick when Germain Racing closed his doors after Geico left. So really good opportunity. And like we were saying earlier, Nick, I think this is just so great that he's going to be running in this 54 car in the Xfinity Series. He's going to be getting just a lot of reps done with this Toyota team, and who knows what the future could lie for a future possible Joe Gibbs Racing ride in the Cup Series. Who knows what this could land him?
Right. I think Gaunt Brothers is doing all 4 of the super speedway races, which I think makes a ton of sense because those are the only races they're going to be out to go for wins. So I think it makes a lot of sense. We saw Daniel Suarez miss the Daytona 500 last year, though, with Gaunt Brothers. So I'm sure they're praying they make the show this year because we got a lot of cars entering the 500. So it's going to be exciting. Speed Weeks is going to be exciting this year with all those cars entering.
No doubt about it. I'm really looking forward to it.
And Anthony Alfredo will be making his NASCAR Cup Series rookie debut with Front Row Motorsports. I don't really know how I feel about this. The guy had some pretty good opportunities running with RCR last year in the Xfinity Series, and now taking over Front Row Motorsports car. And we know that those cars don't really do that well. We saw John Hunter Nemechek have a crapshoot of a rookie season with that car, and I feel like
Back in trucks.
yeah, and I feel like Anthony Alfredo is going to be worse because I think John Hunter Nemechek's a better driver. So I honestly expect this car to be like 25th to 29th every race. To be honest,
I don't like this move for Anthony Alfredo. I get it. If you have an opportunity to go drive a cup car, do it. But I really liked Anthony Alfredo down in where he was in the Xfinity Series with RCR. He was up front. He was being competitive. I guess if there were no options opened up for him, then sure, go take the cup ride. But I have a bad feeling he's going to end up like John Hunter Nemechek. He's going to run a really poor rookie season. We know that those cars are not really competitive cars. But again, the big thing here, it's a lame duck year. It's the last year of the Gen 6s. So maybe he was just a guy like Front Row Motorsports was like, hey, you don't have anything lined up next year. Come drive for us for a season and we'll see where we want to go from there. But I just don't expect I don't see why a guy like him who has all the potential in the world takes a deal like that where he's not going to be able to showcase it. I don't know, man. It's just my opinion on it.
Oh, yeah. And then another guy that will be making an attempt at the Daytona 500 is Mr. Derek Cope.
Yeah, you can just pack up and go home. He ain't making it.
Yeah, damn near 200 years old, and and he's going to be going out for his second Daytona 500 win. I think he actually tweeted he's going for 2. So look out for Derek Cope, guys. He's ready He's ready, and he wants blood.
Yeah, he's
when did he win last? 1990, 1991.
1885.
1885. The end of the Civil War.
Yeah, I think it was like 90 or 91. Yeah, I think you're right.
Jesus Christ.
He's hyping himself up a little too much there. He's gonna
Before I was born.
His qualifying speed is going to be 150. He's going to not even keep up with the draft in the duels. So, okay, bud. Calm down.
All right, so another driver making an attempt at the Daytona 500 will be Kaz Grala. He will drive the 16 for Kaulig Racing in an attempt to enter the Daytona 500. We've seen Kaz Grala. He has made a name for himself throughout the Truck, Xfinity, and even Cup Series. When he took over
he filled in
Austin Dillon at the Roval,
got top 10.
Yeah, and he put on one hell of a show. So I'm really excited to see what Kaz can do in the Daytona 500.
Yeah, he's just one of those weird guys. It seems like he just never really lands in a ride that's, he can really showcase himself.
Right. All right, so you were talking about it earlier, Nick. The Dinger is going to be running with Kaulig in the Xfinity Series full time. Well, he's also going to be running the Daytona Road Course. So the Dinger is coming back to the Cup Series. It's been a few years, and I'm excited to see what he can do. I think he's going to definitely tear up the track, and we'll see if he can pull off the win because we know that he is one of the best road course racers right next to Mr. Chase Elliott.
I was going to say that's objective number 1 is to keep up with Chase Elliott with the way that he runs road courses. But yeah, it'll be really cool to see Dinger back in the Cup Series. I think we last saw him. What was it, like 2016 or something like that? 2017.
I think 17.
2017
retired.
when we last saw him.
Yeah.
So, and it's good that he's coming for a road course because he's one of the best to do it. His one and only Cup Series win, 2014 Watkins Glen. That was a huge day for him and for JTG Doherty Racing. So I'm excited to see what he can do. But yep, objective number 1 is keep up with the 9 car.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that means that we got no Auto Club Speedway this year. It was replaced by the Daytona Road Course just because of the heavy restrictions that are happening in California right now. I honestly think that might mean no Sonoma as well. So what do you think they do? Are they going to replace it with another road course, or what are they going to go to?
Give it back to Chicago.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was actually FaceTiming with my good buddy Patrick Cotto the other day, and we were just talking about California, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if Sonoma's gonna go. Would be really cool if they replaced that with Chicago, though.
I got bad news for you guys. We're the worst run state in the country. There's no way we're getting a race.
Yeah, there's no shot.
You got a better chance of me becoming the president of NASCAR this year.
Hey, I'll take that. You got some good ideas, my friend.
There you go.
All right, and it was revealed last week that Matt Tifft, he has epilepsy after that seizure that stopped him from racing at Martinsville in 2019. It's just crazy what this guy has been through. You know, he had the brain tumor years ago. They got that taken out. And then he went racing a few months after that happened. And now he had the seizure and he's been diagnosed with epilepsy. And it honestly seems like that it's the same kind of epilepsy that my fiance Abby has, where, you know, it's not any light or anything. It's just like mental in your head where something just like clicks and it just happens. So that's really scary. And obviously when you have that, you can't race cars anymore. And I don't even know if he could drive anymore with how constant his seizures are.
I don't think he's going to, but hey, man,
Yeah.
he hate it for him, but he's got the best partner in the NASCAR garage now, and BJ McLeod.
Yeah, and that's his
Live-
best friend too.
Team Live Fast. Oh man, BJ gonna be running full time in that car. I can't wait.
Yeah, but definitely a good opportunity for Matt. You know, he can't be in the race car, so might as well go on the owner side of it. Gets to be team owners with his best buddy BJ McLeod, so that's pretty damn cool. They are best buddies.
And that's crazy. You would
Yeah.
just never think
Yeah,
that.
I don't get it. Well, I don't know what they're like together, but they just seem like a very odd pairing.
Yeah, because I was on I was watching Matt Tiff's like Instagram live. It had to be like maybe 3 years ago or something. And I was like, who's your best buddy in the garage area? He was like, oh, BJ McLeod, without a doubt. Me and him go back. I'm like, what? BJ.
BJ McLeod.
All right.
And the Conor McGregor voice. Who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah, right. All right, and so a little fun thing here. We have a new Netflix show coming out starring Kevin James. It's going to be called The Crew. Kevin James is going to be starring as a NASCAR crew chief for a team that's taking a lot of changes. Ryan Blaney, Cole Custer, Austin Dillon are going to be making appearances in it. It looks like it's going to be pretty funny. I really like anything with Kevin James in it. I'm a big fan of King of Queens and Paul Blart Mall Cop. So it definitely looks funny with the trailers that they have showed.
Yeah. The first trailer I saw, I wasn't like overly thrilled with, but then I saw the one with Blaney and Austin Dillon in it, and that gave me a couple chuckles. The writing from what we saw there seemed to kind of be on the same kind of par with The Ranch, if any of our listeners are familiar with that show. Yeah, it was one of my favorite shows. I think it'll be very similar to that. So I'm going to give it a try. I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be pretty funny. But yeah.
All I got to say is them NASCAR boys, they should just stick to racing because you can just tell with some of their acting. Oh, my God. But, yeah, it should be pretty funny. I'll definitely be tuning in.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny when Austin and Ryan stole Kevin James's wings and they told him he's had enough. And then Kevin James called Austin Dillon short.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Was with me when I won the Daytona 500.
All right, so we got some crazy schedule changes here. I mentioned it earlier. Auto Club will not be on the schedule. That will be replaced by the Daytona Road Course. We saw that last year. That they ran the Daytona Road Course for the first time ever. Then we're going to be having Homestead Miami. That is going to be the third race of the season now. So the first 3 races are going to be in Florida, and then they'll be doing the West Coast swing, I guess, with the 2 races of Las Vegas and Phoenix. And then we got the Bristol Dirt Race, which is going to be an absolute shit show. And then kind of going down, we got 2 Darlington races this year, and the first one that's going to be in May is going to be the throwback race. They're going to have that be the throwback race now because, you know, teams don't want to focus on, you know, all the throwback stuff that they got to get prepared. They just want to focus on the playoffs. So that's very, very understandable. So then we go to Circuit of the Americas, which is going to be a very fun track to see. We've seen Formula One race on there before, and very fun road course. And Sonoma, that is still iffy. I don't know if that is going to be on the schedule or not. And then we're going to have the NASCAR All-Star race at Texas Motor Speedway now, which is really going to be lame. Which, I mean, Charlotte and Texas are basically kind of the same track. So it's just going to be the same, same thing that we got from Charlotte.
Yeah, really not looking forward to that much, but it's the All-Star race. I'm not going to complain too much about it.
Yeah, exactly. And then June 20th, we got the Nashville Super Speedway race is going to be the Ally 400. So that should be pretty exciting to see that at Nashville Super Speedway. And then again, we got the Pocono doubleheader. NASCAR will be going to Road America. NASCAR Cup Series will be going to Road America for the first time ever for the 4th of July. Me and my buddy Patrick Cotto and you boys are still invited to go camping for Road America for the 4th of July. I'm excited for that because we get to see practice, qualifying. We're going to get the whole racing experience weekend. And then we're going to be going back to Watkins Glen. Again, we didn't race there last year because of the pandemic. It's going to be good to see them back there. And then August 15th, it's going to be the first Daytona, or not the Daytona, I'm sorry, the first Indy road course. They're going to be moving from the traditional Brickyard Oval to the Roval for this course, which
Pretty weenie
indeed, my friend, because we went there in 2019 and that race that put on one hell of a show.
Great.
That was very exciting to see. So I don't know. I do plan on going to that just because the whole race weekend is going to be there and it'll be something like different to see with.
We'll get practice with that, so that'll be nice.
Yeah, we will get practice and qualifying with that, so that'll be nice. And then we're only going to be having one Michigan race this year. It's weird. Usually we got 2 races and now they only brought it down to 1.
Yeah. I'm a little bummed about that because I like Michigan. It's another one that's close for us to go to, but it's understandable.
Yeah, absolutely. And then playoffs kind of go on as usual. We end the season with Daytona with the Coke Zero Sugar 400, and we started off with Darlington. And then we end the season at Phoenix. So, guys, it is going to be a wild 2021 season. And I just have a few bold predictions. My first one is that Noah Gragson will make it into the Daytona 500. Very talented super speedway racer. I think he's going to have no problem getting himself in there. My second prediction is that Bubba Wallace will be getting a win or 2 this season. I think that I honestly think his first win will be at Talladega. We saw how well that he raced there last season until he did run out of gas. But no, very talented super speedway racer. It could be at either Daytona or Talladega, but what a way to get your first win than be at your home track of Talladega.
Yeah, we'll see how the Talladega faithful feel about that.
But yeah, I was gonna say that Alabama crowd. They're gonna love that.
They're gonna do what they did the Jeff Gordon years ago when they threw a bunch of beer cans at the car. All right, so my other prediction is that the Bristol Dirt Race will be a goddamn disaster. It'll be the most cautions ever that NASCAR has ever seen, and Kyle Larson will get the win. It'll probably be a duel between Larson and Bell at the end. It's just going to be the 2 of them left.
Yeah.
No, that's where Team Live Fast gets their first win. BJ McLeod's going to win it on the dirt.
All right, and so my other prediction is that Bowman and Chase Elliott will be on the front row for the Daytona 500. It's always Hendrick Motorsports. Alex Bowman's going to be getting into the 48. They always, the guy on the pole always has some kind of significant story about them. So obviously Alex Bowman will be on the pole. Just watch.
I can see it. Hendrick Motorsports dominates Daytona 500 qualifying. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Kyle Larson started on the pole for Daytona 500. He's a Hendrick Motorsports car, so we'll see.
Absolutely. Another bold prediction for me is that this will be Brad Keselowski's final season with Penske Racing.
Is that confirmed?
No, that's just a prediction because they only gave him a 1-year contract.
Okay.
This is
Yeah.
just a 1-year contract for him. And I feel like they're kind of giving him the boot. They're kind of switching sponsors around and everything for him. And me and Patrick Cotto on Cotto's Mojo earlier this year, we interviewed Bob Pockrass, and he gave us his bold prediction that Brad Keselowski will be racing for 23XI Racing next season. If everything goes well with 23XI Racing, they'll bring in another car. Brad Keselowski will be running for them. That's from Bob Pockrass, the man himself.
I was thinking more along the lines of Keselowski going to Hendrick, Larson going over to Stewart Haas, and then Matty D sliding into that 2 car while Austin Cindric goes to the 21. And if Team Live Fast is going, or not Team Live Fast, if 23XI is going to a 2-car team, the initial reports were that it was going to be Bubba Wallace, and then they also threw in a guy by the name of Mr. Daniel Hemrick to slide into that 2nd car. He's already with Toyota right now.
And he's going to be with the money team.
He's gonna hell no. Don't ever say that. Don't you ever speak that into existence. No, but he's in that Toyota affiliation right now, and I don't think there's gonna be anywhere for him to go. He's not gonna get a Joe Gibbs ride, that's for sure. So why not slide on over into a 2nd seat? That's just how I see it going.
Wouldn't be bad one bit. All right, so another bold prediction is that Chase Briscoe is going to have an explosive rookie season. I think this guy could honestly pull off 1, 2, or even 3 wins this year. I think the kid has that much talent. He's going into the 14 ride, Tony Stewart's old ride. I think he's going to have one hell of a year.
It'll be nice for another Stewart Haas racing car to actually show up and compete, other than Kevin Harvick every week. Right. So I'd be all for it.
All right, so my final predictions here. My champion this year is going to be Mr. Kevin Harvick. He is going to get redemption. He's going to breeze through the round of 8 and just forget about last season. He's going to get that championship. Most wins for the season for me will be Chase Elliott. I think he's going to win every road course race, plus a few more tracks. I think he's going to have somewhere probably around 9 wins this year. The guy's going to have an explosive season.
RIP my bank account.
Oh, man, that'd be crazy.
And then Rookie of the Year, Chase Briscoe. The guy is absolutely unbelievable. There isn't really...
Yeah, I was going to say,
that big of a field
rookie class.
Yeah, not really. So, yeah, he's definitely going to be your Rookie of the Year. I still think 2-3 wins is possible for the guy.
I would love to see it. Like I said, I want another competitive car at Stewart Haas Racing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Besides Kevin Harvick all the time, but
yeah,
we'll hope for the best.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, it is going to be a exciting 2021 season. There's a lot of changes to the schedule, whether you like it or not. It is changing, and it's going to be unpredictable. And you guys have anything to say before we close out the show here?
Yeah, I think like you said, Ian, I think it's going to be a fun year just because, with like we've kind of talked about before, the last year of this current package, NASCAR did everything they could to try to be creative with the schedule to make it a little different than past seasons. So they're going to try some things. Kudos to them for trying some things. We'll see what works and what doesn't. And then, really looking forward to once we get through this season, going to the next gen car next year. So I think this, hopefully we have a chance here to send this car off with a shebang.
Right. Well, I'm just excited that a lot of the races this year are going to be run with the higher horsepower package instead of the lower horsepower package. So I think that's going to help the racing we see on the track for the Cup Series. But I really expect that Xfinity Series to light up the charts this year. Trucks are always exciting. Boys are almost under 2 weeks to go here before we see some cars on tracks. So I can't wait. Let's do the damn thing.
Yes, sir. And we also got the Rolex 24 debuting this weekend. It's always a fun race. I know last year we all got together in Mike's apartment, and I think me and Nick stayed up for like 21 and a half hours.
For me, I was at work. I didn't show up until 10 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I stayed up. Me and Ian went to bed at like 5 a.m., slept until like 6:30, got up, watched the rest of it. Oh, man, it's going to be wild.
Yeah, that was a marathon for sure.
I
Yeah,
just
that was a
hate-
lot of fun. I've made the executive decision to try to get 4 hours of sleep in there, and I was not
Yeah.
mad about it.
Yeah.
I'm honestly just gonna see how far I can go. Gonna bring a little like 4-pack of Monster to Mike's apartment. Just gonna drink those and see where the night takes me. If
There
I
you
fall asleep, I
go.
fall asleep. If I don't, I don't. It's gonna be quite the day for sure.
Oh yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to the Stock Car Spectacle. We're happy to be back and rolling for the 2021 season. Just expect weekly shows now as the racing season is starting to move forward and everything. So make sure to check us out on Spotify, Anchor.fm, Google Podcasts, and any other podcast platforms. Make sure to like our video. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Me, Nick, and Mike are all on there, along with the Stock Car Spectacle account. Make sure to follow Kodo's Mojo. It's Chicagoland's #1 sports podcast. That's on Spotify, Anchor.fm, and any other podcast platforms. And make sure to check out our merchandise on Spreadshirt.com. You get sweatshirts, shirts, hats, stickers, anything that you can name, you can get it with the Stock Car Spectacle logo on there. So make sure to get that and support NASCAR's #1 podcast. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Ian Jortson.
Mike Gamble.
And I'm Nick Kinzel.